Netflow is a powerful tool for monitoring and analyzing network traffic. In this lecture, we're going to be setting up and going through a step-by-step guide on how to set up Netflow on a WatchGuard firewall, and then we're going to configure PRTG to collect and analyze the Netflow data. So first things first, we'll need to jump into the firebox here, the WatchGuard firewall. We're going down to System and Netflow, and we'll need to configure this first. So I'm going to enable Netflow. We're going to select version 9. The collector address is the IP address of the PRTG server, which is 192.168.181. And then the port, we're going to use the default, which is 9996. That's UDP as well. The active flow timeout, we're just going to select 1 minute. We're not going to worry about the sampling mode. We're going to select both the firebox traffic generated by the firebox and the traffic destined for the firebox. And then we're going to monitor for an interface. So we will go ahead and monitor the external interface. We're going to monitor all the inbound and the egress from that and see what we get. So we'll hit save. And that's going to save our Netflow configuration. We'll go over to our PRTG and we're going to add a sensor. We'll type in Netflow and we are going to want to pick version 9. So version 9 is just an improvement over version 5. Not everything will support version 9, so you may have to use version 5, but for the WatchGuard we'll use V9. That's fine. So the receive packets on UDP port 9996. The sender IP address is the WatchGuard IP. We're going to receive the packets on the interface there that's outbound into our LAN. The timeout is going to be 1 minute. We're not going to set up the sampling mode. That's all good. And then we can also configure the channel configuration. So what gets monitored, we're just going to leave absolutely everything. And then we also have the ability to do some filters, but we're not going to worry about that. So let's hit create. And as long as we've done everything correctly, if we scroll on down, we should see the Netflow. And if we give it a little bit of time, we're going to see this start to populate. Alrighty, so it took a little bit of time, but now the WatchGuard is talking to our PRTG sensor and we're starting to get a whole lot of information here. So you can see this is updating it in near real time. If we go to live data, we might get a bit more information around what's currently being used. So we can see that some traffic is going over the World Wide Web there. There's some other various traffic. If we go back into overview, for example, and scroll down, again, we can see a bit more information. So www, the World Wide Web, is currently getting about 0.5 megabits of traffic. The others aren't getting too much at all. If we wanted to, we could dive down into our top talkers, our top connections, and our top protocols. So if we look at the top protocols, for example, we can see that World Wide Web, so that's HTTP and HTTPS traffic, is currently using about 80% of our network. So this can really be handy if you're trying to dive down, trying to figure out, what's currently using up all the bandwidth, or if you're capacity planning, so you can determine potential QoS policies and things like that. But really what we've done there is we've got the Netflow configuration set up on the WatchGuard and on the PRTG device. So now that that's configured, it's going to start graphing it, it's going to start logging it, and we're going to have all the information we need for Netflow. So not a long one there, just a bit of a short lecture to show how Netflow configuration works both on the network monitoring and on the WatchGuard firewall. So I highly recommend, if you have the capacity to play around with this at home, that you do so, because it's really cool and it's really handy, especially in production environments. Some best practices to think about is setting an appropriate flow export interval to balance between detailed data and storage requirements. Ensure that Netflow is being sent over a secure and trusted network to prevent unauthorized access. Regularly check the Netflow sensor is working correctly and just to make sure there's no anomalies in network traffic. And always make sure we're keeping the firmware of our devices up to date. By following these steps, you can effectively set up Netflow on your firewall or edge device and configure your network monitoring tool to collect and analyze the Netflow data.